Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of history, lesson 3, the Sultan of Delhi, right? So, in the previous video, we have discussed about this dynasty, that is slave dynasty, right? So, we have started with the Qutbuddin Aibak. Then, now in this video, we will proceed with Khalji dynasty. So Khalji dynasty the was succeeded by Jalaluddin Firoz Khalji, the first ruler of the dynasty. He was actually not a strong leader. Actually, he adopted some lenient policies towards the Mongols, and he was then succeeded by Alauddin Khilji. Right now, Alauddin Khilji was very ambitious ruler. He wanted to conquer the whole of India, and to achieve his this aim, he quickly won over the nobles and soldiers by distributing gold from the treasury, and even his spies were very active everywhere. So now, like how what he did for the expansion of the empire. So Alauddin wanted to expand his empire. We know that he was like very ambitious ruler, and the first step in this direction was the conquest of Gujarat and Malwa, and he tried to establish his control over Rajasthan by capturing the forts of Ranthambore and Chittor. And one incident took place in Rajasthan, that was Rani Padmini with all other Rajput women. She committed Johar, right? So Johar is like taking a bath in fire. So she gave up her life along with so many Rajput women. So when Alauddin heard about this, he ordered the slaughter of his enemies. Means he started killing the people. And Amir Khusro at that time, he was the poet in his court. He who accompanied him on this expedition, actually, he recorded that 30,000 Rajput died on that single day, right? So then he even conquered like many areas. He launched campaigns in Deccan led by Malik Kafur. He was the first Delhi Sultan whose army crossed the Vindhya mountains, actually. So Alauddin Khalji was like a very intelligent ruler, and he defeated so many people like Yadavas, Kakatiyas in Warangal. Then and he kept on expanding his empire, right? Then next, we will read about his economic measures. So, Alauddin wanted to conquer Deccan and Rajasthan, and for this, he needed a strong army, and to maintain the army, he needed large revenues. So, what he did, he increased revenue collection, and he controlled the prices of all commodities, food grains, cattle, slaves, etc. The Sultan made arrangements for the government to buy all excess non perishable commodities. Then a strict watch was kept on buying and selling of commodities. So, even anyone found cheating was severely punished under his reign. So, under Alauddin Khilji, the state brought the assessment and collection of land revenue under his its own control. The rights of local chieftains to levy taxes were cancelled, and they were forced to pay taxes. Right now, we'll move on to Tughlaq dynasty. So Tughlaq dynasty ruled from AD 1320 to AD 1414. So Ghyasuddin Tughlaq was the first ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty, and he was a capable commander. He suppressed many rebellions. Then he was succeeded by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq, as when we had a live classes, we had a long discussion on about his reign. So he was even called a mad ruler or a wise fool. These were some of the titles been given to this Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Although he was very learned man, he had deep knowledge in philosophy, logic, mathematics, and medicine. Even he was knowing many languages like Persian, Arabic, and Turkish, and even he know Sanskrit. But the main source of information like about the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq we get from the records of Ibn Battuta, a Moroccan traveler. And Ibn Battuta actually used to live in the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq for many years, and he tells that the king was a man of great ideas. He thought of many ambitious schemes, but he did not implement his ideas properly. Therefore, his plans actually always failed. Now, transfer of capital. Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to transfer his capital from Delhi to Devagiri, Daulatabad, and this was one of the foolish decisions he made. And what he did, he instructed the entire population of Delhi to leave the city and move to Daulatabad, which is in Maharashtra. The people actually resented, means people were very annoyed. They were against this idea of shifting to Daulatabad because the journey to Daulatabad was very long and it was very difficult and tiring. Soon again, Muhammad bin Tughlaq realized that it was impossible to keep a check in the northern frontiers from Daulatabad. So again he ordered the people to march back, and the kingdoms of all this Deccan plateau, no, they saw this as a sign of like weak control, weak sultanate, and began to like oppose Sultan, and they started demanding for their freedom, their independence. Right now, the next was taxation in the Doab. So, in order to get more revenue, the Sultan raised taxes on the peasants on the Doab region. So, Doab region is the area between Ganga and Yamuna in UP. So, at that time, the people were already facing severe famine, and at that time, again Muhammad bin Tughlaq he raised the taxes at such time. Then the peasants went against him, they abandoned their land. The Sultan had to finally withdraw his orders, right? Then the next was introduction of token currency, one of the foolish decisions being made by Muhammad bin Tughlaq at that time. He actually introduced token currencies, but he was failed to check the forgery, like the duplicacy of those currencies. So people started minting coins illegally. As a result, all the trade suffered, and the foreign merchant refused to accept the token currency. Now was a Khurasan expedition. So again Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to conquer Khurasan, which is in Iran, and he raised a large army and spent a large amount of money to equip it with weapons. So later again he raised army. Later he has hastily abandoned the expedition. Then Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he became very unpopular because of all his schemes. He lost the trust of common people, the nobles, and the ulema. Ulema actually are the people who knows about their religions. Then revolts broke out in Bengal, Gujarat, and Warangal, and the Sultan lost control of the empire. Finally, he died in 1357 due to some illness. Right now was the reign of Firoz Shah Tughlaq came. So Firoz Shah Tughlaq succeeded Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and after his death, Firoz Shah Tughlaq became the Sultan, and he realized various measures adopted by Muhammad bin Tughlaq which has displeased the ulema and the nobility. So Firoz Shah Tughlaq actually started using all those techniques by which he can impress ulema and the nobles, and even he increased the salaries of these people, ulema and the these nobles. And Firoz Shah Tughlaq introduced many welfare schemes, like he dug new tanks to store water for agricultural purposes, and he repaired older tanks prepared by Iltutmish and Alauddin Khilji. And he dug canals from the rivers Yamuna and Satluj. These canals irrigated large area of land, right? So he even constructed so many mosques, 30 mosques, then 40 buildings for educational institutions, hospitals, public baths, bridges, and even new cities were also built during his reign. So Firoz was a deeply religious man, and he withdrew taxes that were against the spirit of Islam. So the death now of Firoz Shah led to a war of succession, and the last Tughlaq ruler Mahmud Nasiruddin ruled for the period of AD 1395 to AD 1413. And the invasion of Mongol ruler Tamur in AD 1398 sealed the fate of the Tughlaq dynasty, and he invaded India and looted Delhi. and even he killed thousands of people before leaving. Like he placed Tamur, appointed means no, before leaving Delhi, Tamur, Mongol ruler, he appointed Khizr Khan as his deputy in India. Then the Sayyid dynasty came, so that we will discuss in the next video. Hope you will like this video. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.